Well, this week we learned that the retail giant Best Buy may be phasing out physical media, Blu rays, DVDs, and of course, physical video games. This has been a long time coming, and I don't know how I feel about it. I think in the long term, it's going to actually be a bad thing to get rid of physical media. I do see and know a lot of people who are like, well, be glad to see it go. And I want you to stop and really think about what death of physical media really means. What you're seeing here is Star Trek The Next Generation for the Super Nintendo. I picked this up somewhat cheap at a game shop that just opened up in my local area. So far playing it, it's okay. I wouldn't consider it great. However, this game is not been re-released to my knowledge, probably won't be re-released anytime soon. And a month ago, people were talking about just how few games have been re-released for modern times and are easy to get access. However, this may not be the easiest to get access to. You're going to have to use eBay or Amazon, and then you might have to pick up a clone console like a Retron 5, like I do, in order to really play these games, because Super Nintendo are hard to come by, and hooking them up to a modern-day TV or monitor is tough, and they don't always look right. Again, you can still do it. With the death of physical media, that means you may not be able to do it. What we're going to get is, instead of hard to get or hard to play on modern-day console games, we're going to get something worse. It's called vaporware. It's what happens when a game that digital only is no longer sold. It becomes vapor. It's now impossible to get your hands on. And I do see this becoming more and more of a problem. Right now, physical media still has the problem. It's not as easy as this, where I just bought this game and it works perfectly fine on my Retron 5. We still have a problem that even if you buy the physical disc and install it, it's got to then oftentimes download the actual game. So what's the point of not getting it digitally? And I do blame the publishers for that, because, again, they're setting us up for a problem. You see, the problem is right now, buying that new PS4 game or PS5 game digitally, or having it on a digital-only space, seems fine. But what happens 20 to 30 years from now when new consoles come out? Are they going to be backwards compatible? And if they're not, what happens when those game shops close down, not only to purchase new games, but when it gets to the point, well, it's been several decades, why are we keeping this shop still open? Will you be able to get access to your games? And for those who are saying, well, it's easier to get it digitally, well, in that case, it'll be super hard, because now you have to keep an eye on what was downloaded. You're going to have to make sure things are backed up, because memory fails. A lot of people don't realize just how oftentimes your memory fails on your computer or digital devices, and you don't realize the need to back things up or to have something to restore until after it fails, and then it's too late. But it happens quite a bit. And if you're going to be having digital only, then you're going to have to make sure that they're backed up somehow. You're going to have to make copies. You're going to have to make redundancy for all your games. Not just a few digital games, but even your larger AAA games. You're going to have to spend a lot of time trying to make sure those are backed up on hard disk drives and stored someplace. It's going to be a royal pain in the ass compared to just having a few games you liked on the older system sitting on your shelves. It's also going to be a shame, because I think younger generations, when they get older and want to look back on classic games, won't be able to access them, because when something's vaporware, it oftentimes stays vaporware. So I'm not sure I like this. As far as the movie end goes, this one's a little trickier, because you do have streaming services. That's how I view most of my content nowadays. I'll admit I'm subscribed to about 4 or 5 of them. I usually watch most of my movies off of there. However, if I do choose to purchase, then I do like to have my physical media, so it's there in my collection. It's there preserved at all time. And another thing to learn, and this happened in Europe about a year or two ago, is just because you go and you purchase it digitally does not mean it's yours. Sometimes licensings can happen between the platform you purchased and the movie itself, and they can go into your account, even though you paid both sides, both platform holder as well as the people who made the movie got their money. With that license, they'll go into your account and remove it. It did happen in Europe with the PlayStation Store. That could be a bigger problem with Blu-ray. Once I purchase something, that movie's mine to own and play. Digital only doesn't give you that. So I do see problems coming up in the future with this digital only media. I do see a lot of debates, and I do even see laws, for better or worse, coming about this problem. So yeah, I just don't know how I really feel about it. Again, I do a lot of streaming, and I do purchase a lot of my games digitally, mainly because PC is a lot easier to use, and I don't have to worry about the Steam store closing down anytime soon, hopefully. Unlike those consoles where I just mentioned the problems, it is going to be an issue. Vaporware is going to happen. I think it's going to be harder to get old games down. Current generation games are going to have a lot more vaporware, and it's just going to be harder if you're a kid nowadays to go back to the past and play classic PlayStation 5 games 20 years from now when they're going to be considered retro. We'll just have to see. Anyways, this is Tommy, the Game Master, signing out. Let me know what you think about this issue. You have a wonderful day. Bye.